Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa, no mai haere mai. Ko John Andrew Denton toku matua, ko Marie Elizabeth Denton toku whaia. Ko Jamie Denton toku ingoa, no Curriculum Design Manager aho. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Jamie Denton, and I am the Curriculum Design Manager at the Graduate School of Management. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be with you today due to illness. However, I decided that I would still like to send through a video and see if we can present in a different way. So my apologies, but just didn't want to be there to spread and become patient zero on the next pandemic. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jamie Denton, and I am currently seconded into the role of Curriculum Design Manager within the Graduate School of Management. A little bit of background for you. I initially trained as a secondary school teacher here at the University of Auckland in the late 1990s, but instead of going into teaching, I decided to upskill further. I eventually took on a lecturing role at Wintec, which is a polytech based in Hamilton. And during my time there, which was about 6 or 7 years of lecturing, I learned a lot about teaching. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I'd become more interested in the ways I was teaching, such as the pedagogical approaches I was using, and less about the content that I actually was teaching. This interest in the pedagogy and curriculum design subsequently led me to begin to explore the possibilities that existed within modern technologies, especially how I could use those technologies to enhance my students and my experiences of my courses and improve student outcomes. That led me into a Master's of Education, and along with some other twists and turns that life throws at us, led me to take on a role as a learning designer at Unitec, where I helped lecturers develop their courses, especially the online and technology enhanced bits. That role led me to University of Auckland, then to AUT, then back to University of Auckland. Most recently, I was working as a senior learning designer within Rangaʻaua Ako, the university's central learning and teaching design team, and at present, I'm seconded into a role as the curriculum design manager within the Graduate School of Management. And before we kick off and start thinking about the actual template that we've created and we're proposing, I'd like you to have a think within a small group, say, let's say 3 or 4 people, just around where you are sitting, have a bit of a chat about how you would rank these items that are on screen at the moment. What's most important? What's least important? We'll spend a couple of minutes doing that, so off you go. Great, let's get you back in about 10 seconds. Excellent. Okay, so hopefully you've got a clear understanding now as to how you and how some of the other people around you may rank these items, and that you may differ from them, and that's okay. That's not a problem. But you've got an idea of what's important to you. Excuse me for just a moment. My apologies. As we've heard from Steve, previously, students have been asked about their experience within Canvas and what's most important to them. And one of the things that constantly comes through as a long-standing tension, and I'm sure that he's already said this, is that students have repeatedly expressed a desire for consistency within their courses and within their programs. The main elements that they're asking for are consistency between the courses in a program. They want things to work similarly. They don't want to be having to think about, in my course 701, I do things differently than in 702 because that's the way it's set up. And that's a lot of extra load for a student. They also want an internal sense of logic within a course and within a program, such as where am I actually going to go to find information about the assessments? Is it in the assignments or is it in the modules? Where's this information been put? And also, we want to make sure that we're meeting the accessibility requirements identified within our disability action plan to ensure that all students are able to access in an equitable way. So where we started, and this is where the current template is sitting, is that we've got a very visually striking and attractive template with a good balance, good design balance already. Provides easy access to most of the important elements within the course, such as the course overview, the teaching staff, the assessments, the course modules, and a lot of information straight on that front page around what are the learning outcomes, what's a bit of a blurb about the course itself. It also provides a simple yet effective bilingual front page where we have the English and then the Te Reo Māori, which is being promoted for a largely international audience for whom English is already an additional language. However, one of the problems that people have run into with this current template is it does require some experience from the lecturer with HTML coding, as replacing images, for instance, means that links sometimes break. And there's no clear link also for where students can go to access different types of support. So our drivers for change, why we wanted to change, was we wanted to bring things in alignment with the Canvas baseline projects that Steve's already presented on, and continue with the ongoing drive for continuous improvement that is common within the Graduate School of Management. In the spirit of this continuous improvement, we aim to develop something that created an improved student learning experience and an improved student end user experience, but also improved the staff experience of using Canvas as a teaching tool and their experience of developing their Canvas courses. So we took that all into place, and we wanted to adhere to these baseline practices, and we wanted to redesign the template with an eye on improving both these experiences. So for students, we wanted to create something that would create a consistency within their course, within their program, and across multiple programs. We wanted it to be visually appealing, but would retain the accessibility elements required to ensure equitable access for many different types of students. We want to provide a low entry bar for getting started, especially for students who are having their first experiences with Canvas, or their first experiences with the university, or their first experiences with the business school. And we want to provide quick, easy access to contextual support for those students. For staff, we want to create something that would be relatively easy to develop and maintain for themselves. We also wanted to provide a strong first impression for the students, but then largely leverage the out-of-box functionality that sits within Canvas itself, because we didn't want to reinvent the wheel for the sake of reinventing the wheel. Which led us to this new Canvas template. We wanted to bring in some of the elements of the previous one. So you'll see that the design is relatively similar, but what we've tried to do is really simplify from a teacher user experience how it works, and also provide a simpler experience for the learner as well. So I'm just going to click on this and we'll bring it up. Perfect. Okay, so what we've got here is, first off, we've got this banner, which would then be contextualized to which program they're in. Very simple for a staff member to come in and change that, because this piece here is actually just an overlay where staff can just literally type over it, hit save, and it will retain all its function and all of its form and formatting, and just be like that. We can obviously change the look of that banner for different programs. That will also mean that the screen reader will pick it up. That was important for all of it, and so each of these is actually an overlay that staff can just write over to change. We want to give students a very quick overview here on how they can access and how they can work within this template, what they can do, where they should go for different information. We put in this getting started module, and I'll come back to that in just a moment, which is designed especially for students who have not accessed Canvas before and have not used the university systems. Then we had these approaches here, such as the syllabus, teaching staff, assignments, and modules. Then finally, student access to program policies that are important to them. So let's pop into the getting started. This just links them to a getting started module where they have access to things such as the course director, where we have an image of this course director. This is all easily typed over, and the staff member can just quickly, easily change that. The student can then hit next. Excuse me. And here we also have quick, easy access to their timetable. So we want quick, easy access to what's the location, what's the time, what's happening. And so that's nice and simple for the students to go through. And obviously all of this can just be typed over for the staff member. The support page is support for course content related materials and keeping that within the course itself, but everything else going out to the support pages that are provided by the third party that is providing the tool. So Canvas being a third party tool, we want to use their help areas, because then if they make a change to their tool, they have to update their support pages. And so students can just go, I'm not really sure about using Canvas. I'll click on that and find some information. Same with Zoom, and that can be removed if you're not using Zoom. Whereas course content and assignments, it redirects them to a discussion forum, or that could be Piazza in the course itself. We've also got some information here for students around if I've got a problem with non-academic student misconduct, a dispute with other students, etc. How do I contact, and who is the university proctor? And finally, some information about well-being and where they can get support around elements around well-being. Also in this getting started module is the program policies, which was that bottom link as well, where we've just got access to a lot of information, probably way too much, but we want to keep everything in the same place for students so they can access everything they need. And then if we head back into the home page, pop into the syllabus. We kept the syllabus page pretty bare bones. We've also got the DCO, and the idea being that there would be a link, although I haven't put it in here now and I need to do that, a link to the DCO which would have all of this information, rather than having two sources of information where one may be different than the other. So we're seeing this course syllabus page as if there's any important documents that students need, any important information they need, and a link to the DCO. The teaching staff, that just links to that same page that we've seen previously of who's the teaching staff for this course. Assignments. We've created a template that staff can then use and copy over, which is also available as a Word document if staff would prefer to use it as a Word document. But essentially what we want people to be thinking about and doing is thinking about what's the overview, what is the context, what is the purpose of this assignment, what is a student required to do, what is a student required to submit, and then what are we actually assessing. So we'll have some information here about the actual context of the assessment, going into the requirements. For instance, you'll find a data visualization, you'll review it, then you'll present it as a review. Then the deliverables, what will you actually hand in, or what will you actually be assessed on? What's the actual deliverable that's being assessed? And then the course learning outcomes. And you'll see here that this assessment addresses the following learning outcomes: outcome 2, outcome 3, and links to the graduate capability elements as well. And so we're just going to get staff to type over those. And then the modules just goes back to the modules. One thing you might notice is we've moved to be in alignment with the university policy of the Te Reo Māori being in front of the English. There has been some concern that's been raised around the fact that this is an international cohort where English is already a second language or additional language, and whether there'll be some confusion with the Te Reo Māori. What we've found is that previously we haven't had that as an issue in our old template, so we don't foresee this being a problem. I'd like to suggest that if you'd like, you can pop into this site here, polev.com/Jamie Denton 706. You can do that on a laptop or mobile device, or scan the QR code, and just give us your general sentiment. How do you feel about it? Positive or very negative? Just give you a couple of minutes to do that. While you're doing that, our rollout plan is that we're going to implement this new template for 2 Master of Applied Finance courses in Q4 2023. These are brand new courses, so there is no cohorts that would have previously worked with the old template, so it made sense to use them straight into this new one. We also wanted to work with just a small number of courses. That way, if there's any bugs or anything unforeseen, we can be really responsive and quick to fix those. And I can work directly with the lecturers to get those things ironed out really quickly. So over Q4, we'll iterate as needed, with the plan being from Q1, we'll start rolling it out on a rollout plan of, as the course comes up, we'll change it over to this new template. Great. So I'd like to suggest now, normally we'd take questions or comments. That's going to be really hard given that I'm not there. So if you'd like to fire any questions or comments through, please get hold of me here with my email at the bottom here. Or if you'd prefer, you're welcome to contact Andrew. Or another option is scan the QR code or visit this website to take you to a Miro board where you can put down what you like, what you don't like, or anything other, any suggestions, and we'll collate all that information later on. Do note that if you're using a phone or a tablet, you'll need to download the Miro app in order to interact with the board. And I would like to thank you very much for your time today and leave you there. Kia ora.